Morning, government set to affix tax stamps on electronic cigarettes, alcohol and others from September 1, a move expected to generate about 455 million cedis.
We need to see how taxation can also be used to direct the way the economy should move.
Also, Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research calls for a strict regulation of the activities of the Bank of Ghana.
Terms are also very much the same, and so we are hopeful that this could be a successful transaction.
Plus, Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications renews calls against high data charges, insisting it is impending business growth.
You sell the 2x5 at $30 million. The MNO that would have to amortize all of that, that would also result in the cost.
We'll bring you the details of the headlines and many other stories shortly. Thank you for staying with us. In our first story, government has announced the introduction of new tax stamps on fruit juices, sweetened beverages, electronic cigarettes and other liquids from September 1 to conform to the ECOWAS directive. Commissioner in charge of Domestic Tax Division at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Edward Apinteng Jamra, also said implementation of the excise tax stamp on textiles at entry points will take effect on October 1.
The move, according to government, is to protect the citizenry against any smoking-related risk and also mitigate the harmful effects of the consumption of alcohol, sugar-sweetened beverages and tobacco through tax mechanisms. The health tax is expected to generate about 455 million cedis this year.
Industry that in the 80s employing over 30,000, now doing just about 10% of that when population is increasing. So we need to see how taxation can also be used to direct the way the economy should move. And this is one way that we can all do to ensure that we bring back the textiles industry for them to give us the needed development, to give us the needed employment.
The authority will also implement the textile tax stamp at the entry points from October 1 to protect the local textile industry and increase revenue from the sector.
If you bring in any products that has not been stamped, which is supposed to attract excise tax, then of course the law will use the provision, the law to enforce that. We will have some kind of transition provision for players of the industry that, for the first 3 months, we will allow you to start complying. But come January 2024, we will start full enforcement.
That was a report by my colleague Naneka Amensa Abrampa. In more business stories, the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications has raised concerns about the prevailing expensive cost of data within the country. The chamber highlighted the pressing need for policies that align with broader objectives and strategies, fostering an environment conducive to business transformation. Chief Executive of the Chamber, Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, addressed the media as the Chamber's 22nd Knowledge Forum in partnership with GSMA.
The cost of even data, for example, is still expensive. And the cost of data will be expensive because in Ghana, you decided that your 2x10, spectrum, when you were auctioning the 800 megahertz, you're going to sell that at 60 point something million, and definitely then the MNO that would buy that, or you sell the 2x5 at $30 million, the MNO that would have to amortize all of that, that would also result in the cost. So it is important that, we look in terms of aligning our policies with a bigger objective and the bigger strategies that we want so that we can drive that. And to be able to get this to go again, all of us have to work together.
Chief Executive of Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications, Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe, there. Meanwhile, Global System for Mobile Communications Association, GSMA, has reviewed in its report that there exists a significant divide between the potential of mobile money in accessing electronic government services and the current utilization. This gap, according to Senior Insights Manager Nigham Shahid, not only represents untapped opportunities but also a disparity in empowerment, especially for women entrepreneurs.
I think there is a gap between what could be done using mobile money to access e-government services and what is being done right now, and especially how many women are using mobile money, for example, for P2G payments, government-to-person payments, and to businesses as well. So more men are using business-to-government payments than women are, even though many women are running enterprises, and this is leaving them behind. So there are recommendations, of course, to ensure how more women enterprises and more women-led households can use mobile money to access those e-government services. I think that the new government, the draft policy that's coming out, can serve as a real enabler for women, and I think there needs to be a very concerted effort to understand where women are being left behind, why they're being left behind. The report does identify what those challenges are. It provides recommendations to governments as well as the telecoms companies as well as donor and development partners.
That was Senior Insights Manager at GSMA, Nigham Shahid. Now it's time for the movers and shakers in the world of business and the academia to come together and deliberate on the way forward for our country. In the 3 Business TV3 Thought Leadership Lecture Series, under the theme Ghana's Claim of Economic Self-Governance and Independence, a myth, reality, or the need for paradigm shift, economist, banking consultant, and lead facilitator of the Thought Leadership Lecture Series, Dr. Kojo Aboagye Deborah, shares his expectations.
That claim that we can govern and manage the resources, the reality today is giving us a different, and we think we've got to a point where there's the need to assess these in a more detailed, and then whether it calls for a paradigm shift. Paradigm shift means that there's the need to have a common agenda, the way things should be done, and a leader who can mobilize us to be able to create food, shelter, and clothing, and wealth, and reduce poverty. That is the essence of why we've chosen this. So we've got to a point where there's a crossroad, given where we are, the present evidence. See, we are looking at assessing past, present, and future. Past is giving us today's reality, and today's reality is calling for a new shift. And that new shift means that as the people of Ghana, we need to come to it with a common purpose. That common purpose is calling for a new agenda, and we expect advocacy spearheaded by Parliament to be able to drop that agenda.
The program is at TV3 premises today at 9:30 a.m. Also, the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research is calling for a strict regulation of the activities of Bank of Ghana to address the present challenges confronting the central bank. These were amongst issues raised by the organization as part of its post-mid-year budget review discussions. Michael Ogbodu has the rest of the story.
The Bank of Ghana is reported to have recorded major losses of about 60 billion Ghana cedis due to the impact of the domestic debt exchange program, a development the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research (ISE) believes could have been averted if the activities of the central bank were strictly.
Sometimes all these things are done for good reasons. When we put in laws, structures, it will help minimize, but if we allow discretion, sometimes when we are hit, the bank can not sit aloof and allow the economy to crumple. It has to step in. So that's what the bank is trying to do. But I think what got us there, we shouldn't allow that to happen again. For me, that's the key thing. If we borrowed beyond the necessary threshold, we have learned our bitter lessons and we should not do that again. My point is, If we have turned the corner, then there are many corners we have to turn. We have turned one. There are many corners we have to turn because if you look at the rate of inflation, it is still high comparatively. About if we compare with our peers, exchange rates depreciation relatively stable, but yes, we have suspended debt payment, debt servicing, and it's very uncertain to what extent the foreign creditors are going to allow a haircut. What are they going to forgive us, and what are they going to ask us to pay?
Michael Ogbudu's reports. Now, economists are hopeful the second round of domestic debt exchange is likely to succeed following what many describe as a more consultative process. Government is considering restructuring over 123 billion cedis, which includes cocoa bills, Bank of Ghana overdraft extensions, and pension funds. Pakwesi Asare has been following the process and reports.
Ghana's domestic debt eligibility stands at a staggering 259 billion cedis, with only less than 50% of it structured thus far. The restructured domestic debt accounts for 85% of 98 billion cedis, leaving over 123 billion cedis, which includes cocoa bills, Bank of Ghana overdraft extensions, and pension funds in need of restructuring. This substantial debt overhang necessitates further actions to ensure Ghana's economic stability and long-term sustainability. A total of nearly $810 million in domestic dollar bonds is set to be exchanged, while about 8 billion cedis of cocoa bills will also be traded for newer bonds. The latest, however, is that government has decided to extend the deadline to Friday, August 18, instead of the originally stipulated date of August 4. Eligible bondholders, according to our checks, say they need more time to secure internal approvals to participate in the new offer. In a subsequent release by the Finance Ministry announcing the extension of invitation to exchange, it said the issue date, payment schedules, and amortization schedules for the new bonds will be adjusted to reflect the actual settlement date, which is now August 25, 2023. Cocoa Board has also extended its offer period for debt exchange from August 4 to August 18. According to their statement, an offer cannot be revoked or withdrawn at any time except in the limited circumstances described in the exchange memorandum.
Seeing the terms are also very much the same. And so we are hopeful that this could be a successful transaction come 18th, really. And it will go a long way to also help. In fact, as of now, we know we have saved about 34 billion on interest for the year 2023 from the initial DDP. This too, plus the pension funds exchange, which is also now ongoing and the offer period hasn't ended yet, will further enhance that interest savings, and then we are likely to get some relief on the budget.
That was a report by Pakwesi Asare. Let's take a look at how the cedi is faring against major trading currencies and how some of our key commodities are faring on the global market.
On the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar recorded no price change, selling at 11 cedis. The British pound also recorded no price change, selling at 14 cedis. The euro lost 1 peswa and is selling at 12 cedis. However, be guided that these figures will be higher at a forex bureau near you. On the global commodities market, price of cocoa is down by 3.46%, selling at $3,376 per ton. Price of Brent crude oil is up by 0.76%, selling now at about $86 per barrel, while the price of an ounce of gold is down by 0.61%, selling at about $1,925.
That was a trip to the forex and commodities markets. That will be all for Business News on Sunrise. My name is Minwafo. For more business stories, please check out our website on 3news.com. Stay tuned. Sports News is up next.
FM 92.7.
The
joy in his mother's eyes after he provided her with a state-of-the-art kitchen to cook her signature Unapo jollof.
It's a mega win.
For Ajua, it's turning her passion for photography into a successful career while providing her children with the best education possible.
It's a mega win.
For Kwame, it's becoming his own boss and starting his music business.
It's a mega win.
Whatever winning means to you, Mega 6 Lotto can help you achieve it in grand style. With only 49 numbers to choose from, the odds are always in your favor. Play with as little as 2 Ghana cedis for a chance to win millions of cedis every week. Download our Android and iOS apps. Dial *266# or visit mega6lotto.com to make a mega impact on your life and the lives of others. Mega 6 Lotto. Mega winnings, mega impact. The Mega 6 Lotto is regulated and monitored by the NLA.
3FM 92.7 Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
It's time for sports on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. My name is Kelvin Owusu Ansah. Well, it's time for us to win some more with Mega 6 Lotto. 6 numbers can't change your life. And today is Wednesday, so we are going real hard to win some more money. What would you do if you won 1 million Ghana cedis today with only 49 numbers to choose from? Mega 6 Lotto is offering you the chance to win exciting prizes. Well, don't forget to play before 5 p.m. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And luckily today is a Wednesday, so make sure you are one of the lucky winners. Dial *266#, *266#, or download our iOS and Android apps on mega6lotto.com to play. Mega 6 Lotto is approved and regulated by the NLA. Just win and let's win together. Now, starting from the Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association, and they've settled on the Red Ash Memorial Hotel in Tamale for the Executive Elective Congress of the GFA on the 27th of September 2023. The Congress, which begins at 9 a.m. in the forenoon, will elect executives to steer the affairs of Ghana football with the association for the next 4 years. The agenda for the Congress is the election of the GFA president and executive council members from Premier League, Division 1 League, and the Women's Premier League. So that is the latest from the GFA elections. Let's move on to Kumasi Asante Kotoko, former Asante Kotoko coach Pakwesi Faben, and he has admitted that it was very difficult to turn down Legon City's offer despite his initial plan to stay away from top flight football for a while. Faben had been with the Diana FC, where he led them to a second place finish last season despite leading the table for a large part of the campaign, and wanted to begin talent development, but has ended up with the Accra-based club. Faben was unveiled yesterday at the Legon City Secretariat.
I like working with young guys, and this is what the team has asked me to do, to bring a lot of young players so that we could also be a selling team, not really buying team. So that's the objective, and then to do well in the league, to place well, and a very comfortable position. So, but if something good comes along, we'll all enjoy it. I decided to stay off Valley for some time, but I wanted to really start my own academy in Kumasi. But when, like I said, he showed me what they want to do here, I felt they were in line with my thinking, so I decided to accept this job.
Well, that was why Pakwesi Faben decided to accept that job. Now moving on, West Africa Football Academy Sporting Club Wafa SC has officially sent a written notification to the GFA to inform the association of the decision of the club to withdraw from the Division 1 League. The club, among other reasons, explained that the current change of policy direction to fully focus on developing young football talents through the academy system in the Volta region of Ghana. Now, the Executive Council of the FA in the coming days will exercise as per under Article 78 of the GFA statutes to find a replacement for Wafa in the Division 1 league, that is Zone 2, in light of the established precedent. So it's likely Asokwa Deportivo or one of Kempon Academy will replace West Africa Football Academy. Wafa have produced very exciting talents, the likes of Harrison Afo, Felix Anan, Michael Akufu, Awal Mohammed, and a host of other players who've graced the Ghana Premier League as well as the Black Stars. Now moving to Kumasi, Asante Kotoko and the club's life patron Otumfo Seito has called for no interference in the duties of the different departments in the Asante Kotoko team to ensure that they reach the success they want to achieve in the 2023-2024 Ghana Premier League season.
Coach, one players will be to me the about them. Make a chance one players a bit me about team. I was happy I need technical director or camp or not advising you who's and non a bear command. As one man freedom no debate choose one no any players. Now one no make a chance as one no players and no bonani and me unity. Or fight soon what to me no more bars in fear you look around what to no over.
So that is it there from him by the head of the interim management team of Kotoko, Nana Apinkra Akwesiawa, has called on the club support base to put past differences behind them and rally behind the new path that the club is charted.
To the NCC, to the old footballers, we appreciate your comments and we take it in good faith. Let's use the words of the Lord's Prayer to be our guide. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Now from henceforth, the new face of Kotoko is going to be the flag, and behind the flag is the coach. Kotoko is going to be the coach and the team. It's no more going to be officials who we will be working behind the scenes to support him. Whatever questions you have, anything you have to do is the team, the coach, and the playing body. Once again, on behalf of my colleagues, I want to say a very big thank you to all of you. Looking at the numbers here, within 6 hours of notice, it has hope that there's much expected of us, and believe from His Royal Majesty, who has pledged his total support for us, whatever we're doing. Continue to pray for us, for the good name of Kotoko.
So that is Nana Apinkra Akwesiawa, the head of the IMC of Kotoko. Now to the head coach, Prosper Natioguma, sent out a warning to all the players.
Those we think that have not exhibited those technical and tactical characteristics will be shown the exit, because it's a two-way thing. It's performance-oriented and business-oriented. Business-oriented in the sense that the youth players, those who do well, will now be promoted to the first team. So it means that Kotoko will not be spending so much money to be buying players. Again, these same youth players, the team can decide to transfer them to other clubs to accrue some money to see to the daily running of the team. So those who to the opinion of the technical staff, we think that have not lived up to expectation will be shown the door. And then some of the youth players will also be brought in. And then a few, maybe one or two that will spot in other clubs will also be brought in.
So that is from Dr. Prosper Natiogumba. He hopes to achieve a well-built team in the next 3 years.
Then in the third year, it means that by that time, more experience and exposure has been given. I'll call it the flow zone. I expect that in the third year, we should be in the flow zone where we have to be very competitive, especially in Africa. And then from there on, we continue in the fourth and the fifth year, and then we'll move on. So it's going to be a long-term project, and I expect everybody here to be very supportive, because the key to the biggest clubs in Africa, the Alis, the Zamaleks, the TP Mazembe, is about their youth teams. And I believe that if we all become sincere in the selection process and give these young and upcoming kids, JHS, SHS, we give them the opportunity to be under our tutelage, where we take them through modern trends of training. I'm sure within the shortest possible time, we'll have a lot of young or younger players who will be competing for Kotoko at the top level. So basically, this how it's going.
So that is Dr. Prosper Natiogum, and Kotoko have confirmed defender Yaya Dawuni as their first signing of the new season. Well, he's a defender from Susubibri, and he was unveiled yesterday as one of the new players from Division 1, and he also had a stint with the Black Galaxies. Now, Mediama SC have also confirmed the signing of Zimbabwean international Kudakwashi Mahashi ahead of the new season. The 29-year-old joins the team on a year deal after successfully undergoing medicals and negotiations. He joined Mamelodi Sundowns in 2014 after his breakthrough in the Zimbabwean Premier League with Highlanders. He spent a season on loan at Golden Arrows before a permanent move out between 2016 and 2018. While he also featured for Orlando Pirates and SuperSport United in South Africa. Now to the Women's World Cup, and star striker Eugenie Lissoma scored a brace at France debutant Morocco 4-0 on Tuesday to make a spot in the quarterfinals of the Women's World Cup. France scored 3 goals in less than 10 minutes in the first half. The first one, and Omag Kadidia Tudiani, who had a hat-trick against Panama, got a 4th goal in 2 games in the 15th minute. Diani then assisted Kenza Dali in the 20th before Lissoma's double. The French side will now face co-host Australia, who defeated Denmark 2-0 on Monday. Now, Catalina Usmi scored the only goal as Colombia kept their Women's World Cup charge on track on Tuesday, defeating Jamaica 1-0. Colombia will now play England in Sydney on Saturday. Now, moving away to some men's soccer, Manchester United boss Erik ten Hag has revealed that new striker Rasmus Holland will miss the opening fixture of the season against Wolverhampton Wanderers due to fitness.
Oh, it's difficult to say how that process will go. But I think he's making good progress in this moment, and then we have to see day by day how the progress will go, and then we have to follow up. No, when he's available, and so he's here, then also you are an option to play. But we don't expect him in that short notice to be 100% fit, so we have to wait some time more.
Well, some more time, but Ten Hag says he needs at least 2 players in each position to deal with the amount of games coming up this season.
We need all positions double, because the number of games we have to cover, you need that. You need the competition in. You always have to deal with suspension, with injuries, when the form, certain players are not the one you expect. You have to deal with it also from technical perspective. Yeah, we need double positioning, but also you need the good players, but also every player needs a perspective to play. I'm happy with the squad, so I want a strong squad, and I want competition in the squad. So I'm happy with the current players who are in. So when we go with this squad into the season, that's fine.
Well, moving away, new Arsenal defender Jurrien Timber has revealed why he was ready on leaving Ajax to join the North Londoners, and says Mikel Arteta played a major role.
I always wanted to play for Arsenal, so normally I don't say the teams I want to play for. So I was a bit surprised by the video as well, but when I saw it, I could remember the moment I said it. And yeah, Arsenal was my favorite club, so that's the reason I said it. A lot of moments, but I think just last year was also, I think, a special year for Arsenal. When the choice came this summer, it wasn't a hard choice to make.
It wasn't a hard choice to make. Now, the Saudi investment has reached a high in football, with some of the top players and coaches moving out of Europe, including England. Now, Premier League Chief Executive Richard Masters isn't worried about big-name players going to the Saudi Pro League. His explanation.
It's a really long road that the Saudi Pro League has got to go on. Obviously, they've taken the view they would like to become a top 10 league by 2030. We know they're interested in hosting the World Cup in 2030. That decision hasn't been made yet. And they're investing in players and managers at the moment. But it needs a lot more than that. English football has history and tradition. It has packed stadia. 98.7% of our tickets were sold last year. Has home and away support. All those things, has a brilliant youth development system. So all those things go towards making a league successful. And it's not easy, and it's very competitive.
Is there a danger, though, that we could see a talent drain? I mean, we're already seeing a talent drain, aren't we? Some of the world's best players are now playing at Saudi Arabia.
About 450 million euros has been spent, according to our data set, on 20 players, under half of which have come from Premier League clubs. We know their window stays open a bit longer. We're not sure how much money is going to be spent. It's something we need to keep an eye on, obviously. But Saudi Arabian clubs are entitled to purchase like anyone else.
Well, that is there from Richard Masters, Premier League executive. Now Ghana sprinter Benjamin Zamati is not going to be part of that World Athletics Championship in Budapest in Hungary due to a groin injury. The 25-year-old's absence will affect the entire team, according to Oreko Ampofo.
And it's always about the psychological damage. To see a leader like Benjamin Zamati not participate in the competition would be a big blow. But it's rather unfortunate, and maybe it could be an opportunity for a younger athlete to come in, but yeah, looking long term, what would this mean for his prospect of maybe in the Olympic Games? You're looking at how long is he going to be out for, and also most importantly, time is not on his side. You know that the World Athletics Championship is almost like maybe the World Cup or something. It's very big, and it doesn't come around often. And so you're looking at your age and the fact that you have to miss another one. And I think it's the momentum from the last one, the Commonwealth Games and all. It could have been something good for Team Ghana. Remember, I think the Commonwealth Games, I believe that if Ghana would have made a medal, medal in the final. But it's not unfortunate that this time poster ball will not be there. So I wonder how that would affect the momentum as well. But it's definitely a good look.
Definitely not a very good look. Now, the 19th edition of the World Athletics Championship will take place between the 19th of August and the 27th of August. Now, finishing off with some boxing news, Anthony Joshua will fight Robert Helenius at London's O2 Arena on Saturday as a replacement for Dillian White. Joshua's heavyweight rematch with White was cancelled on the weekend after the latter failed a voluntary drug test. Now, Finland Helenius, who was 32 wins, has 32 wins and 4 losses and steps in at least less than a week with a notice from Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn speaks on how important this is for Anthony Joshua.
Saw him on Fox a couple of times, batter Adam Kanauki. He lost to Deontay Wilder. He got knocked out by a shot that would have knocked out a horse as well, and he came to fight. That's the reason he got knocked out in that fight. He can punch, he's 6'8". He won at the weekend, sent me a message straight after the fight from the changing room. I actually think it's a tricky fight. I think it's quite a dangerous fight.
Well, it's quite going to be a dangerous fight. Helenius' last big fight was a first-round knockout defeat by Deontay Wilder in October. So I'll be all for sport this morning here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Thanks to Mega 6